Hello, honey. It is you and it is I. Who am I? I am Nikita Thomas, and this is the Bees Buzz. This is my channel, and you can click that subscribe button and keep the channel alive and keep you in the know, and we can grow. What is my greatest buzz right now? My greatest buzz is me. Who am I? I am the author of Zero Tolerance Life Lessons Learned in God's Love. This is volume 1. I am a book designer. I actually designed this book. I created the front cover image myself. I had the idea for everything, the ball. I just pretty much found online and purchased the image. And this is the back cover, and as you can see, the ball comes together on the back cover, and I did all this myself. And the printing is actually on this copy done by Book Baby, so shout outs to Book Baby for my beautiful book. But I wanted to come to you today in my Zero Tolerance Facebook challenge group. On Saturdays I discuss and we discuss emotional intelligence, and I wanted to share something with you from my book that I wrote, an experience that I had where my emotional intelligence was tested, and I passed the test according to me, and I'm pretty sure the other people feel like they passed the test too. So test passed, job well done. So here's the situation. I was a member of a ministry, and I was also working at the ministry. I was serving in like 3 different divisions of the ministry, and I was actually working for a part of the ministry where I got paid while I was there. I had a situation with a manager who was very aggressive towards me, and at first I really didn't pay very much attention to her behavior, because at the time I was a single mother with 4 daughters that I had to feed and take care of. So I wasn't really bothered by anything that the lady was saying to me. I really wasn't bothered until someone, an outside person, brought it to my attention how the lady, well, few people actually, brought it to my attention how the lady was speaking to me and how she was treating me. And at that point, I started to pay more attention to, how I was being treated. And because of the awareness of the people around me, it started to weigh on me. So I did attempt to try to resolve the situation with the manager. Her and I sat down and talked several times on several occasions, and we just could not seem to iron out our differences. Worse turned to worse, meaning I reached a point of zero tolerance where I felt like I had to make a decision and make a choice for my own sanity and to save my emotional intelligence. Either I was going to flip out on this lady, or either I was going to move on, find another job. Something had to give. And in the process, something did give, and what gave was I sent a message about what I was dealing with this particular manager to my ex-husband. And in the text message, I simply said, the manager heard me discussing her, because actually the manager heard me discussing her after work one day. I was away from the job. I was gone. I had clocked out. And I actually had a friend of mine in the car with me who witnessed the way the manager was treating me. And we had a discussion in the car. Unbeknownst to me, my Bluetooth was on. I had taken it out of my ear, but it was on, and it was in the center console of the car. And the manager tried to call me, and my phone answered, and she could hear all of our conversation. Well, needless to say, the person that I was with was simply expressing, I don't know how you allow her to talk to you. Kid, I've been knowing you for years. You don't deal with people like that. I've never even seen you hang around people who treat you like that. And again, self-check for me, I had to think about, is this job just a check for me, or is this something that I really am, dedicated to, as far as just, like I said, we couldn't iron out our differences. So I had to figure out, I was at a crossroad. I had to figure out something to do. So even though I was at a crossroad, what ended up happening is, after that conversation, that the manager heard, she did send me a text message and said, well, I guess I don't know you very well. And I'm like, well, no, you don't know me. Like, you're my manager, I'm an employee. Like, that's a totally different relationship and friendship than you and I maybe hanging out, or you knowing me for years, or us growing up childhood friends or something like that. Those are two totally different things. So, you know, being employed by somebody, you might not necessarily know that person the way that you would know them as a friend. And actually, I've had friends who really don't even know me the way that I truly am, because that's just me and the way that I've lived. So ultimately what ended up happening is that text message that I sent to my ex-husband, I accidentally sent it to the manager because of course she was on my mind, and ironically the first two letters of her name were the first two letters of my ex-husband's name. So her getting that message, she waited until I came into work that next day. She didn't say any too much to me, and she pretty much let me just work through the day on my own without really being her bossy self. And I was actually at peace. I was really happy with that because, you know, I was so used to her being such a boss, you know, always being over top of me. And what ended up happening was, at the end of that day, she advised me, told me that Human Resources wanted to speak with me. Well, I went to Human Resources, and Human Resources had a printout of that text message that I had sent accidentally to the manager. Now, I worked all day not even knowing that I had did that. No clue whatsoever. But it was like a blessing in disguise, because that was the give that I needed to basically let go and let God from that situation, because I really was down to here with the manager, and I really was just beyond even getting, you know, a check for doing what I had once enjoyed and loved doing, and now was just, you know, didn't even want to come in to work every day. So Human Resources basically said that I was fired for being a conflict of interest, because of course, you know, the manager and I had tried to work it out and we couldn't, and it was all good. So this is a lesson on emotional intelligence. Actually, I believe and feel like, and I always will, that I responded very well to that manager. I held my peace as much as I possibly could. The text message was totally out of my control, and I felt like if a text message, words on paper, is enough to make somebody feel some type of way, or if that's worth you firing somebody, I mean, there were plenty of things that her and I discussed that she could have fired me long before then. So I felt like when it comes to emotional intelligence, I felt like her emotional intelligence was not, it was not up to here. I just don't believe that. And as managers, as employers, as entrepreneurs who we may be hiring people, we intend to hire people, or even just on an everyday basis of dealing with challenges of being an entrepreneur or working for someone or working with an organization or a company, we have to be careful with our emotions. We have to be careful with how we treat people, because you never know how, you know, it'll end up turning out for you. Now, I'm pretty sure, you know, you don't know this person, but because this person knows what they did, if this person ever reads my book, this person is going to know, you know, oh, she's talking about me. And the person might feel some type of way about that. Again, we're talking about emotional intelligence. We're talking about being adults. We're talking about being able to handle ourselves in situations that, you know, we normally aren't in. And like I say, lesson learned for me, life lessons learned in God's love, because at the end of the day, when I was fired, you know, as a single mother of 4 kids with rent to pay, with bills to pay, I had no one to turn to but God. And that is where my emotional intelligence resides. That is when I have to, when I'm here, I have to bring myself all the way up and fill myself up with the goodness and the joy and the happiness and the fullness of God, because that is something that I have learned and have experienced, that people will do their best and try their best to take that from you. So take it from me. Again, author of Zero Tolerance, Life Lessons Learned in God's Love. Zero tolerance is not a bad thing. When you get to that point to where you just can't tolerate something or tolerate someone, it is okay to remove yourself from the situation. It is okay to allow God to remove you from the situation. It is okay to move on. Life goes on. And that is all I came to say, honeys. Have a great day.